Today we celebrate the Saint Pius of Pietrelcina, probably more popularly known as Padre Pio. I always appreciate when we come up and remember saints that some were alive to remember, right? Old enough to remember them when they were alive. And it's getting to that point where it's like I'm getting to that age where I've gotten to experience that myself. Not Padre Pio, of course, but others. And so we see in this man a simple Capuchin friar whose life reminds us that holiness often comes dressed in ordinary and even hidden fidelity. Imagine him as a young man in that small region of Italy. I believe if I remember correctly, he was a son of farmers, sheep herders. Imagine him there amidst all that, dreaming of God with a childlike honesty. And he felt the call to serve perfectly. And when a priest, the priesthood finally laid hands on him, right? And finally he was ordained. Not too long after that, the burden of the stigmata began. I think he was about 30 years old. And it happened not as a spectacle, but as a shared cross. He often joked that his suffering was a good bargain if it helped souls come closer to Jesus. His humor kept him human even when the heavens felt close and the world grew heavy. Padre Pio teaches us that prayer is not a to-do list, but a living, listening friendship with the Lord. I mean, he spent long hours in the chapel. And people would tell stories of him hearing confessions for hours on end. So I want to build here in this parish. I want to have confession lines for hours on end. I mean, I don't know if I don't have the endurance that Padre Pio had, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Although I don't have his gift of finishing someone's confession. Or maybe I do, I don't remember. It might have popped up in one of those inside the seal, I don't know. He didn't measure holiness by grand gestures. He treasured the ordinary, a whispered prayer, a patient word to a struggling sister, a cold day, a warm cup of tea shared with a pilgrim. This is something I sat with today that, as I've been thinking about everything going on, it's like he once said, pray, hope, and don't worry. The Eucharist was his daily bread, his sustaining center, and he urged others to encounter Christ there truly, deeply. His life shows also a paradox. Weakness becomes strength when united to Christ. And so the wounds he bore, literal wounds, but also the wounds of fatigue, doubt, and loneliness became channels of grace because he offered them to God. He would tell people with a gentle firmness, be at peace, for God knows your heart. So in your own fragility, in your own illness, fear, guilt, let us bring them to the Lord as he did with trust and persistence. And let us remember his simple acts of mercy. A confession offered with gentleness to those who fear judgment. A fellow worker encouraged in fatigue. A stranger supported in sorrow. He didn't live far away from us in a heavenly cloister. He walked the same roads we walked, only with a heart already tuned to the music of grace. And so today, let us ask for Padre Pio's intercession to deepen our prayer, to grow in trust amid uncertainty, and to imitate Christ in mercy. May we bring the peace of Christ to our own families, to our workplaces, to our classrooms, and to our parish, letting even our ordinary days become channels of grace.